It's not too often that a new car can strike up as much anticipation as the brand new Suzuki Jimny. The last car was on the market for nigh on 2 decades. Now just pause on that for a few moments. Nigh on 2 decades. That is practically 2/3 of my lifetime. Now, towards the end of its lifespan, it was clear it needed modernisation, but by doing so, would the new car lose its identity? On the face of it, that would be a resounding no, as the new car looks wonderfully retro, borrowing design features from its ancestors while still offering modern features such as LED headlights. In fact, this car has received lots of looks whilst I've had it, more so than some of the more exotic stuff I've had the good fortune to drive. However, this all counts for diddly squat if it can't set out to do what it's meant to do: off-roading. But just before I get into the muddy stuff, let's talk about the interior. Now, some may say the interior is a bit dark, a bit drab, a bit basic, but guys, don't forget, this is a cheap car built to a cost. Therefore, you have to expect some compromises in here. Yes, I know there are plenty of hard, scratchy plastics, but that's to be expected in a car like this. And to be honest, the car feels more durable and they will be easy to wipe down if they happen to get dirty. I've also got rubber floor mats, so if you have muddy footwear, you won't get the carpet all nasty and dirty. And I think, relatively speaking, the inside is a nice place to be. I've got a leather steering wheel, I've got a few silver touches dashed around the cabin, and I've got gloss black detailing, and I've got a good amount of kit. I've got a 7-inch touchscreen with Bluetooth, DAB radio, smartphone connectivity and navigation. I've got climate control. I've got a healthy amount of safety features. I've got cruise control. So really, I don't think you could really ask for much more in here. Yes, okay, you don't get a reversing camera or rear parking sensors, but guys, this car is tiny. It's easy to park. Therefore, you shouldn't really have any complaints. The rest of the interior, you've got chunky grab handles so your front passenger can hang on for dear life when you're going off-road, and the inside, it does feel well put together, although the surround for the handbrake and the cup holders, that's very loose, and yeah, I must admit that bit doesn't particularly feel well made, but the rest of the cabin, I've got no complaints. So time for the serious stuff. Off-roading. Now, like the last Jimny, this car's got Suzuki's Allgrip Pro, so this gives me 3 different driving modes. So you can either have 2-wheel drive, so the power is fed to the rear wheels. You can have 4-wheel drive, which obviously power is fed to all 4 wheels, or you have 4-wheel drive with a low-range gearbox. So following customer feedback, you now have a lever for these modes. The last car had buttons. So let's pop it into 4L, so that gives you your low range gearbox. So to do so, I've got it in 2-wheel drive now. Pull it once, and that pops you into 4-wheel drive, and then press, then pull it once more, and you have the low range gearbox. So we start with an uphill climb. Bit of a nasty bump there. So like the last car, the new Jimny has got the ladder chassis. This makes the car more robust. However, Suzuki has made the new Jimny more rigid in regards to the chassis, and the axles have also been beefed up as well to give a bit of extra strength. There we go, the Jimny has made light work of that. Now, I know what some of you will say, oh well, this green lane isn't exactly difficult for the Jimny, and yes, I get what you mean, but I have to work with what I've got in front of me. This is the best venue I have in my area, and these cars are quite precious to Suzuki because there aren't many about. So yes, Suzuki were quite keen for me not to take it anywhere that could cause any serious damage to the car. So yes, I know this green lane is probably a bit too easy for the car, but it gives you an idea of what the Jimny can do. And so far, as you would expect, it is lapping it up. And the great thing about the Jimny, it's light, therefore it can drag itself along quite easily, even though the engine is far from gutsy. Speaking of which, let me talk you through the engine. So it is a 1.5 litre naturally aspirated petrol, which offers 101 horsepower with 130 newton meters of torque. This power can either be fed to a 5-speed manual gearbox, which is what I've got here, or if you prefer, a 4-speed auto. Now, this 1.5 litre engine is new. It replaces the old 1.3 litre naturally aspirated unit. That's a bigger drop than I was expecting. It replaces the old 1.3 litre unit, which was far from gutsy. Yes, I know this engine, getting a bit bumpy now. Yes, this engine isn't exactly gutsy, but it does have more power than before. Now, top speed almost seems redundant in this car, but in case you are interested, it is 90 miles per hour if you go for the 5-speed manual, and 87 miles per hour if you go for the 4-speed auto. But yes, the Jimny is working very well down here, no issues whatsoever, and this car is remarkably capable. And don't forget, this is on standard road tyres, so I haven't got any special tyres. These are the tyres that you will get from factory. And even so, they are doing a sterling job. Another great thing about the new Jimny is that the angles have been improved. So the approach angle is 37 degrees, the ramp breakover angle is 28 degrees, and the departure angle is 49 degrees. So you should be able to tackle quite a few different varying bits of landscape without scraping or damaging the underside of the car or the bodywork. Right, let's test out the hill descent. So feet off the pedals, and I can really feel the car slowing me down. In fact, let me pop it into first. I can feel the system working. At times I can hear it working. And look at that. Not the steepest decline you'll ever see, but still enough to warrant hill descent. I actually tested the hill descent down a 20% gradient at the Millbrook Proving Ground, and the way in which the system worked was nothing short of phenomenal. So it's not just a new engine and new looks that the Jimny has, there's also clever features. So for example, on the roof you have guttering. So let's say you get out the car when it's been raining, when you open your door you won't get covered in water. Very clever indeed. You've also got dips in the windows, so you get a better visibility as you're driving along off-road. So if you have any obstacles, like a tree stump or a big rock, it just gives you that extra bit of visibility in order to see it. Plus, the top of the instrument cluster is flat and even, so it gives you a good idea, thank you very much, it gives you a good idea of what angle you're driving at. Now, these may seem like little, rather trivial things, but it shows that Suzuki has put a lot of thought into this car, and the brand has, you can tell, the brand has really been keen to improve on what was already a winning formula. This car is not as good as the old car, it's better, it's fantastic. Right, now this bit looks a bit gnarly, so, right. Let's see how the Jimny does. Come on, come on. Easy. Now, that little bit there, that has slightly flummoxed other SUVs I've taken down here, the Suzuki Vitara and the Subaru XV, but the Jimny just doesn't give a toss. Now this bit looks extra rutty, so let's go in and hope I don't get stuck. I can feel the car, I can feel the grip moving from wheel to wheel. Mine out the way, branches. Oh. I must be honest, it did that easier than I thought it would. What can't this car do? So, how much will the new Suzuki Jimny cost you to buy? Well, there are two trim levels to choose from, SZ4 and SZ5. SZ4 starts from £15,499, offering features such as DAB radio, Bluetooth, air conditioning, daytime running lights, hill hold control, lane departure warning, and autonomous emergency braking. The model I have though is the range-topping SZ5, which starts from £17,999, adding features such as rear privacy glass, 15-inch alloy wheels, LED headlights, climate control, heated front seats, and a 7-inch touchscreen with smartphone connectivity and navigation. However, this car does have a few optional extras. So I've got brisk blue paintwork, which is contrasted by a bluish black pearl roof, that is £650, and I've got a few accessories. So the silver trims to the outside, their different design to the front grille, the silver cover for the spare wheel, and mud flaps. These accessories are £1,648, so this car you are looking at right now is a total of £20,297. So let's see how the Jimny does on the road, because the last version, well, all you really had to do was to drive it a few yards on tarmac and you quickly got a sense that it would much rather be on the dirty, muddy stuff. However, Suzuki has been hard at work to make the new car more compliant on the road. But has it worked? Well, the answer is a resounding yes, it has. So the new car, it definitely feels like more of a road car compared to the last car, and it is nicer to drive day to day. Now, don't get me wrong, it still has a few quirks, let's say. So the handling is still a bit roly-poly, but that's to be expected. This is a high-riding, slab-sided SUV, so if you want it to corner like a hot hatch, well, yeah, I think it would be safe to say you're a bit delusional. The ride is better. It's not quite as bouncy as the old car, but it is quite busy and it is quite fidgety. Now down here on this rather smooth road at 40, the ride is actually pretty good, I must be honest. But it doesn't take much to unsettle the ride, if I'm going to be honest. So this may not be the most comfortable SUV to live with day to day. On the road, this car is easy to drive. The steering is light. The pedals are well weighted, they offer a good amount of feedback, I've got no complaints. And one of the many great things about the Jimny is the driving position. Now, a lot of SUVs will boast they've got a high commanding driving position, but compared to the Jimny, they simply haven't. In this, I almost feel like I'm sat in a Transit. Let's talk about the 5-speed manual gearbox. The changes are quite nice. Yes, they are a bit long, but not absurdly so. And the change is quite mechanical, it feels quite assured, and in my opinion, it is quite satisfying. Let's talk about the power delivery. Well, as long as you're in the right gear at the right time, the engine works just fine. Yes, I know it doesn't have a lot of power on paper, but don't forget, this car is light, therefore you don't need a lot of horsepower to get it going. Visibility is fantastic in this car. Every panel has got large pieces of glass on it. So the front, the side, over my shoulder, out the rear, there's lots of glassware on this car. So visibility out of it is fantastic. This may as well be a greenhouse on wheels. Excellent visibility. And because this car is small, it will be easy to park. So you don't really need parking sensors or a reversing camera, which is just as well because you don't get them as standard. So let's talk about the running costs. On a combined run, Suzuki states this engine is good for 35.8 mpg on a combined run, and in my experience I've pretty much hit that, so that is pretty good. Although let's be honest, this is not the most frugal SUV going, and in case you are wondering, no, you can't have a diesel. Oh, Jimny friend. Ah, old Jimny, how romantic. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, you can't have a diesel engine for this car. You can only have this 1.5 litre petrol. In regard to emissions, well, this engine is far from green because it emits 178 grams per kilometre of CO2, meaning for the first year of VED, you'll have to pay £855. But what about the other areas? Insurance, warranty, that kind of thing. Well, as standard, you get a 3-year warranty, although this is a Suzuki after all, so it should be pretty goddamn reliable. But the insurance group is yet to be announced, although, let's face it, I very much doubt this will break the bank to get covered, so that should be absolutely fine. The Jimny is of course a small car, so it would be mad to expect loads of space. However, the new car has got a bigger boot than its predecessor, but like its predecessor, it maintains the side opening tailgate and the tailgate mounted full-size spare wheel. Open the tailgate and you will find, well, to begin with, there isn't a lot of space. So to get any kind of capacity, you will of course need to fold down the rear seats. But before I do so, I just want to tell you, you do have a cubby hole here where you can pop a few smaller items. So that's quite practical. And you also have a 12-volt socket, which again is quite handy. But yes, fold down the rear seats, which is very easy. You've got a little pull tab either side, pull it and then push the seats down like so. Very easy, very quick. And you will get 377 litres worth of space, which is 53 more than the previous car. Better still, all of this material in here is wiped down. So if you have muddy items in here or dirty dogs, fear not, you can simply wipe it clean and away you go. Very practical indeed. Speaking of practicality, thanks to a relocation of the rear lights, the opening for the tailgate is now wider, which means it's more practical and it gives you better access to the boot. Very good indeed. Well done, Suzuki. Now, as you would expect, there isn't a lot of space to be had in the rear. As always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller chap, meaning it is a little bit tricky for me to get in to begin with. Oh. I will do this as quickly as I can, I promise. 1 leg, 2 leg. I'm in. So, as you would predict, I haven't got much knee room. In fact, I've got none, and leg room isn't much better. However, thanks to the car's boxy frame, I do have a good amount of headroom. However, I wouldn't want to be sat here for a prolonged amount of time. Although, if you wanted to put children back here, or perhaps smaller adults, it should be fine. But yes, for someone of my height, no, I don't think I'd want to be here for a prolonged amount of time, as I said a few moments ago. So, on that note, time for me to get out. Right, this will be a challenge. Oh, I need to take up yoga. Almost there. I can taste the freedom. In the front you have a fair amount of cubby holes, although they aren't particularly big. The door bins are quite thin, you can't really fit much in them. You do have 2 cup holders in the middle and a few smaller slots here and there where you can pop a few smaller items such as some loose change or some chewing gum or perhaps a snack. And of course you do get a glove box which offers a decent amount of space, although it isn't massive. In regard to getting a good driving position, that may be tricky for some because the steering wheel only adjusts for rake and not reach, if I can find the lever. There we go, so it goes up and down and that is it. The driver's seat does have a good level of adjustment though, and for me, I'm 6'2", I haven't really had any difficulty getting a comfortable driving position. How safe is it? Well, this is where the Jimny falls down a little bit, as Euro NCAP awarded the new car just 3 stars, which is rather average nowadays. Mind you, it's better than the new Jeep Wrangler, which was awarded just 1 star. Yes, that's right, 1 star. The new Jimny offers standard safety systems such as 6 airbags, hill hold assist, lane departure warning, autonomous emergency braking, and hill descent control. I was super impressed with the new Jimny when I drove it for the first time last year, and you know what, my thoughts remain the same. This car is simply fantastic, and what I love about it is how Suzuki has brought the car into the 21st century, but without destroying the car's soul or indeed the ethos of the original design. It is, in my opinion, the best of both worlds. Yes, this SUV won't be for everybody, but if you want an SUV to pop to the supermarket or to do the school run, go out and buy a Nissan Qashqai. This, on the other hand, is for those who want a small SUV which can pretty much go anywhere whilst offering a good amount of value and strong levels of reliability. The only real problem I can see with this car is simply demand. If you do order one, you will be waiting for quite some time, but like I said in my video last year, it will definitely be well worth the wait. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If so, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.